Last year, the waters were tested. This year, it became serious. Soon, the action will culminate in one final competition, putting the teams from all over the globe against each other in Berlin, Germany, to decide who the best Valorant team of 2021 is going to be. Every team went through a thorough qualification process, selecting an excellent group of 16 challengers. And while the prize pool hasn't been announced yet, we can guess it will be a decent chunk of change. And yet, it's the glory and the bragging rights of the Valorant Champions title that appears to be the main motivator of these players and teams who have taken a chance on this young esport in hopes for new opportunities. So for the entire year, competitors matched up in their local regions, fighting for every last circuit point throughout the 3 stages of the Valorant Champions Tour. For some teams, it came down to tiny point differences, like it was the case in South Korea, where Vision Strikers narrowly beat Nurturing Gaming out for a qualifying spot with 415 to 410 points. In other regions like Latin America, the dominance of the top team in KRU Esports with a staggering 295-point lead left no doubt who the representative of the region should be. The same was true in North America, in which Sentinels reigned supreme with a fat 775 points in comparison to runner-up Team Envy with 450. One team definitely worth highlighting, which came in on a wing and a prayer, was Europe's Fnatic, who technically landed outside of one of the 2 qualifying spots in the region. However, heading into Masters Berlin, in which the team didn't make qualification, a narrow set of circumstances was still able to send them to the penultimate event of this year. For some context, Fnatic is a bit of a crowd favorite due to its rags-to-riches esports story and its charismatic in-game leader Boaster, who could likely walk in any boy band in existence and would seamlessly fit in.
There we go!
It's probably fair to say their year peaked during Stage 2 with a couple of top placings, though as other European powerhouses like Ascent and Gambit, as well as the revamped and revitalized G2 Esports and Team Liquid elevated their performance, Fnatic fell behind the field and had to hope for a miracle. Flopping the Nats? Come on, give me this one. The Russians from Gambit went all the way in the so far biggest international Valorant event in Stage 3 Masters in Berlin. With their unique control style around superstar Cypher and Viper player Nuts, Gambit became an unstoppable force as they made their way through the bracket, and even clean sweeping the final against Team Envy. The latter gained a bit of a reputation as a destroyer of North American dreams, beating 100 Thieves, as well as the favorite Sentinels, around perhaps the most famous Valorant player in Tense. Now, by Team Envy around beastly Jet aficionado Ye having Sentinels' number that week, the expected clash of Sentinels with other international titans was kept from the crowd, and will be one of the most exciting storylines coming into Champs. You see, Sentinels isn't just any other team. Scrolling through their trophy case of the last 12 months will make you feel as if you let the blue filter on your monitor take full effect as your screen is tinged in all gold. This is especially impressive since North America could, and perhaps should, be considered the most competitive region so far, with a lot of resources being poured into the scene and several top team organizations assembling a lot of great rosters. And despite all that dosh, of which Sentinels seems to be throwing some around themselves, Sentinels has been absolutely dominating North America, especially with the recruitment of perhaps the most well-known, but certainly one of the most skilled players in Tense, carrying the hell out of Cloud9's old roster. Sentinels first loaned, but eventually ponied up for what is very likely to be the largest transfer in Valorant history. Without skipping a beat, Sentinels went on an immediate streak of utter dominance, winning everything including Stage Masters 2 in Reykjavik, as well as every other North American event. Speaking of, another team that displayed utter regional dominance for a while were their aforementioned Vision Strikers, South Korea's representatives, going on a streak of 102 consecutive victories. The team of FPS veterans defied all odds and put the entire region on lock. Internationally, it took nothing short of the eventual winners in Gambit to contain the Vision Strikers takeover, though VS arguably pushed Gambit the furthest to the edge during the playoffs. Now, the most uniquely beautiful aspect about their play is their cohesion on incredibly high-octane executes that don't rely on bringing a single star player into position, but rather has most of the team step up at different points, even going to the point in which the team was able to run a 6-man roster successfully. And as a stylistic unicorn during the strategic maturation of Valorant, many teams globally looked towards VS, and they kept innovating. Unfortunately, we won't have time to flesh out the story of every single team at the event, but it should be pointed out that there are true dark horse possibilities too, especially from teams coming from the last chance qualifying. I mean, take for instance the European representatives of Team Liquid, a team with a rich history around players that were once the best, a story of brothers, a tale of second chances, and a hunger to take it all. Maybe you'd enjoy the story of Cloud9, an organization that tries to prove that they can do it without their former teammate Tense, whose shadow they haven't been able to step out of and have to look way up the podium every single time. Or perhaps you're excited by teams from developing esports regions like X10 Esports around prodigy Patafan, who is rumored to be going back to Overwatch after the event and play in the Overwatch League. Can he leave his mark on the Valorant scene as well? Now, no matter what flavor of esports or narrative of teams and players you enjoy, Valorant Champions is likely to have something in store for you. It's going to be a grand spectacle of blood, sweat, and tears of 16 teams from all over the globe, with only one being able to win it all. Will you be there to see them do it?